Hey there, everybody. I'm King 5 meteorologist Leah Pezzetti.
And I'm meteorologist Adam Claibon.
And we are coming to you live. We're going to take the next half hour and talk about the weather because we have a lot to unpack. We are officially going into first alert weather mode into this evening and actually into the end of this week. Rich Marriott extended that because we have a very active weather week ahead. So we want to unpack it all, walk you through day by day, the different types of impacts that we're facing, where, when. Make sure you're ready to go for this week.
Yeah, and so obviously we're going to be talking a lot about the winter weather that's going to be happening across the mountains, but I don't want that to get your guard off if you are going to be here in the lowlands, because we are expecting to have a lot of heavy rain at times and some breezy winds as well. And actually the National Weather Service has just issued new advisories for the wind here as we get ready into our storm tomorrow. So we want to go over that for you too.
Yep. Yeah, the wind is going to be a widespread wind event. And I will just say, we are going to start first alert weather mode as of tonight, right now. But Wednesday definitely looks like the high impact day for widespread from the lowlands to the mountains. Everybody's going to feel the wind. For the lowlands, it's rain. We're actually watching snow levels increase the next couple of days. I know many communities did wake up to a little bit of snow this morning in the lowlands. We're saying goodbye to that. The low level snow potential is done. We're watching snow levels rise. We're keeping snow in the mountains, but we are looking at a lot of snow in the mountains, and that combined with the wind is creating these blizzard conditions. Yeah,
so let's go ahead and talk about that right now. We have this atmospheric river, and usually when we're talking about atmospheric rivers, we're talking about a relatively milder or warmer air mass that's going to be heading our way, and typically that would mean that a lot of our air mass would be on the warmer side. And so for our mountain passes and our resorts here, we would start to see those higher snow levels perhaps bringing more of a rain-snow mix, or maybe even just rain with the core of that atmospheric river. But I want to show you exactly where it is. You can see that's mainly tracking a little farther to the south. And with that being the case, we're going to be on the extreme northern edge of this. And with that also in place and our colder air mass that we have around, we're going to produce a lot of snow. So this is going to be great news for our low snowpack, and this will continue to head our way as we head on into the night, and through the night and into the day for tomorrow, we're expecting to see that heavy snow begin to break out yet again. And you can see first alert mode from now until early Saturday morning. We probably could see a little more snow after that point too, but this is definitely going to be the core of the heaviest snow that we're expecting at that time. And we've talked about the heavy mountain snow, the increasing winds with that, and the avalanche danger to go along with that. But of course, we don't want to diminish the heavy rain that we're going to see here in the lowlands as this makes its way on through. And we're going to see this both across the Washington Cascades and also the Olympic Mountains here as we head on into more of the next few days.
So let's go through some of the alerts. These are issued from the National Weather Service, and they all carry different criteria. The National Weather Service meteorologists look at very specific criteria. There's thresholds to issue these alerts. So we have a few that are kind of winter weather related. The winter storm warning and the winter weather advisory. The winter storm warning is that pink area that's going to be kind of a step above. That's the highest alert in place for winter weather. So that just means a lot of snow. So we are looking at 1 to 3 feet of additional snow. That is a lot of snow for the multi-day span, but that's starting this evening and then through Friday. And I want to clarify also that this is on top of what we've already produced. Stevens Pass has been blessed by the convergence zone for the last 48 hours and is closing in on 3 feet of snow actually. This is 24-hour snow totals, but when we look at 48 hours, we're looking at close to 3 feet of snow for Stevens Pass. And you can see when you look at the other areas, Baker and Snoqualmie are not far behind, but a lot of our mountains just didn't have the precipitation the last couple of days because the convergence zone really set up. So Stevens Pass already close to 3 feet of snow, and we're looking at a promising 1 to 2, even closer to 3 feet of snow in the next couple of days. So it is heavy snow that is heading our way. That's prompting that risk for avalanche danger, which I will say the Northwest Avalanche Center puts out their forecast at 6:30 each evening for the following day. They do it one day at a time. We do not have tomorrow's forecast yet, so we absolutely will keep you updated as soon as that information comes in. But snow is definitely one of the big things that we're keeping an eye on, additional snow in the mountains. So that is part of that winter storm warning that is in place. We'll take you live to Stevens Pass right now. It actually looks pretty clear, so if you do have to do any pass travel, right now would be a good time to do it because tomorrow this is going to look a lot different. We we do have our blizzard warning that is going to be beginning in the mountains tomorrow. It was initially supposed to start this afternoon, but there's very specific criteria for a blizzard warning, which, to be frank, we're not looking like they would come to fruition today. So the National Weather Service did push that back a little bit. We'll talk about that right now. So here is a look at what the blizzard criteria are. Yes, snow is a big part of it. And I think if you just ask the average Joe on the street, hey, what needs to be present for a blizzard? Everyone would say snow. That feels obvious. But the difference between a winter storm warning or a winter weather advisory and a blizzard warning is that it's not just snow, it's also wind. And that is what we're expecting tomorrow. So the criteria that the National Weather Service will look at before issuing a blizzard warning is, are we expecting sustained or frequent gusts surpassing 35 miles per hour? If yes, then that will reduce visibility down to a quarter mile or less because of that blowing snow. But we also need this for a prolonged period of time, at least 3 hours of these conditions. If that is what we are expecting, then the National Weather Service will issue a blizzard warning, which is what we have in place starting tomorrow evening.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening right now. So this is actually more of what we're going to be noticing throughout the evening. You can see there's a few light showers beginning to move on through. In this particular band that you see moving across parts of I-5, that's going to be something that we'll deal with here for this evening and into the first part of the night. But that one right there is not really going to be the big producer of any of the heavier amounts of rain or snow that we're going to have with this system as it pushes on by. This will be kind of like the initial forerunner that will come by, start to wet things up a little bit, bring a little more snow as far as the mountains are concerned, and then move on out of here. But we still have that deeper moisture that's out over the ocean heading our way, and that's really going to be a big producer of some of the higher totals we're expecting, rain and snow. So let's just get you through here tonight and into the day for tomorrow. First off, let's take a look at that shower band. That's moving on off towards the east. We get a bit of an enhancement to some of that snow for the mountains as well, but there's really little in terms of rainfall for many of us as we go throughout the night or either very early into tomorrow morning. Now, if you are more towards the mid and latter part of that morning commute, we're talking more 7, 8, possibly 9 o'clock in the morning. Showers will start to increase from the south northward. Snow is going to start to increase as we head late into the morning and throughout the afternoon, and that's when you can see a lot of this really beginning to really come about. The heaviest rain is expected mid to late afternoon heading into Wednesday. Heaviest snow is expected as we head on into more Wednesday evening, Wednesday night, and those snow levels do start to come up. So they will rise, but we're still expecting them to stay near, if not below pass level for most of this duration of time. But that's until 6 p.m. and that's a key time frame because that's when our current advisories will end and we'll actually have those blizzard warnings that we're going to talk about here later coming up for you in just a bit. But let's talk about rainfall up until that point. Probably about a half an inch up to about maybe an inch for some of our locations. Not expecting that to be the majority of our rain, but definitely going to be a big rain producer at that point. And then, yeah, we're going to see more rain after that. And as far as what we're expecting with snowfall, about maybe a half a foot to a foot up into that point. Could be some higher totals across some of the higher terrain paradises up around 5,500 feet. So better chances of seeing some higher totals there and down towards White Pass too, where the deeper moisture is expected to be as we head on into that time. So let's just recap again because we're going to take a break right here. Forecasts here for the next few days. First alert mode Wednesday through Friday, and then we're expecting a little bit of a more tame weekend ahead as we'll have some of those showers around heading on into Saturday and Sunday. And over the next really 24 hours, it's going to be kind of key to see exactly how quickly those winds do begin to pick up because we've been talking about the blizzard conditions arriving. They do look to come more so towards the latter part of the day heading into Wednesday. We've already seen some of those warning times shifted, but we're going to tell you the latest information with that coming up here in just a bit. So make sure to stay with us.
Welcome back to our First Alert Weather live stream. I'm Leah Pezzetti alongside Adam Claibon, and we are here to unpack the very exciting weather that is heading our way the next couple of days.
Yeah.
We just walked you through the rain and the snow, but another very impactful element that is coming our way, specifically tomorrow, Wednesday, is the wind. And this is going to be a widespread wind event from the lowlands to the mountains, so everybody will be tapping into the wind. As we get closer to this event, the wind products are verifying and they're looking more promising that this will be an impactful wind event. And the National Weather Service has now issued some of those wind alerts that are in place. So we will walk you through those right now.
All right, so you can see right there are wind advisories that are out for Puget Sound, all the way up and really up and down the I-5 corridor, all the way down to Lewis County, out towards the coast, and really anywhere in the lowlands. You're talking about this wind advisory that's going to be with us until it looks like early into Thursday morning at 6 o'clock. And we are expecting to see some of those winds sustain, generally between about 25 to 30 miles per hour. So those are not your bursts or your gusts of winds, but the gusts, those could get up closer to about 50 miles per hour. So pretty big wind gusts right there. And with that, of course, whipping around the rain, could there be power outages? They could. I don't think we're seeing that this is going to be a major disruption as far as power outages, but anytime you have winds getting up this high, you can have the possibility of that happening. So we're going to have the stronger wind gusts with us, and that's for us here across parts of western Washington. And I'm sure you see what's happening across the eastern side of the state with all that mustard color that's going on right there. And those right there are high wind warnings.
So that's a high wind warning that is going to be in effect from 8 p.m. Wednesday through 11 a.m. Thursday. So just a couple hours later. So we see the Puget Sound impacts a little bit kicking in a little bit earlier. This is just a tiny bit later, but that same time frame, that Wednesday night time frame, is going to be the problem spot that we're keeping an eye on. It's a similar situation. Those sustained winds in that 20 to 30, maybe a little bit stronger than that. So sustained winds, those are those ongoing winds, but the gusts could get up to 50, 60, even in the mountains, 75 miles per hour. But of course, this is eastern Washington that we're talking about, the Blue Mountains and over into Idaho as well. So that is also going to be a late Wednesday night event. But both are going to be seeing those peaks later on in the evening. For Puget Sound, we're looking at in that 8 to 11 p.m. window is when we would see the strongest wind. So late Wednesday night is when that is going to be kicking in. And that would be, if we were to see any impacts as far as down trees or power lines or power outages, it would likely be in that late Wednesday night time frame. But this is definitely going to have a widespread impact for everybody. This is also part of the reason we have that blizzard warning in place, is because of those blustery conditions combined with that snow. So let's take a look at that future cast of the wind and show you exactly when and where it's going to hit.
All right, so as we head into the night, still things pretty quiet. If you're looking out your window right now, you're like, what's going on? There's no storm out there. There isn't really all that much yet, but it's on the way. We have the areas of sunshine here as we're ending off our Tuesday, but winds will be breezy, not all that too high, but they are going to be around 15, perhaps as high as 25 miles per hour in a few spots, adding a bit more of that chill to the air. So that's what you'll have to prepare for tonight. Then early tomorrow morning, they even get it kind of lighter, down to about 10 to 15 miles per hour. But throughout the course of the day on Wednesday, you can see that purple color and that shading just off of the coast. Well, that's part of this atmospheric river, and that's with some of the deepest moisture as we head into the afternoon arriving, helping to produce a lot more of the heavy rain, the heavy mountain snow. We're going to see those gusts picking up closer to 40 miles per hour early into the afternoon out along the coast. For those of us around Puget Sound, I would say early evening, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, and you'll continue to deal with that here as we head on into the first part of the night. And then you can see the overnight hours. This is early into Thursday morning, just after midnight. And we're noticing some of those gusts now across some of the passes here. Stevens Pass, Snoqualmie Pass, and White Pass. They're getting up over that 35 mile per hour threshold that we talked to you just a bit earlier about. So, and that's why we are keeping an eye out and concerned about lower visibilities with the snow that's going to be coming in, whipping that all around, which that's why we have these blizzard warnings that are out for you, starting at 6 p.m. tomorrow and lasting until 5 o'clock heading into Thursday morning. Now, it's going to be within that window that we have kind of the both combined, the strongest of the winds expected, and a lot of this heavy snow that's going to be around for us at the same time, too. And only within this window is where we're going to be talking about between about 1 to 2 feet of snow. Outside of there, yes, we're still going to see more snow, but this is going to be the key period for us with this storm as it comes on through, along with some of those gusts that are going to be up to or maybe even exceed 40 miles per hour at times, reducing some of our visibilities here across the area.
So definitely a good thing to keep in mind for any past travel. Wednesday, starting in the afternoon into Thursday morning, I would not try to travel any of our passes. It's going to be windy, it's going to be snowing, and as we have just discussed, we'll have low visibility on the passes. So do not travel the passes Wednesday evening if you do not have to. One more time, that criteria for blizzard conditions, it's not just about the snow, it's also about those strong winds surpassing 35 miles per hour for a long period of time that reduces visibility down to a quarter of a mile or less. So it's really overnight Wednesday night that we would advise you to avoid the passes. And Something kind of interesting here is looking at how rare these are. As we've said, it's not just the snow, it's the wind also, so specific criteria. Technically, the National Weather Service Seattle office has only issued 7 of these ever, and 4 of those have been in about the last 2 years. So the first one was in 2006, then 2008, then 2012. We then took about a 10, even close to 12-year lull. The first one after that more than 10-year break was issued in January of 2024. We had 2 the calendar year of 2024, 1 December of 2025. You might remember that about 4 months ago. And now this one in 2026 marks 4 in about a 2-year span. We actually just got off the phone with the National Weather Service. I said, I'm curious, why is it that we're seeing more frequency here? One of the things that they told us is that we're increasing our technology and our forecasting abilities, so we have more confidence that these conditions will be present. It's not to say that these conditions have never been present in that 10-year span. It's that we're able to get ahead of the storm, issue that alert ahead of time, and we know it's coming. So that this is an example of that, and we're seeing that in the last couple of years is those advancements in technologies, and also simultaneously stronger storms, stronger wind events that are creating these blizzard conditions.
Yeah, and so that's why it's going to be really important if you're trying to travel here into the weekend. Blizzard conditions, nothing to play around with. You're going to want to probably time it out later, because not only is it going to be just maybe you trying to get across, but there could even be parts or times that the passes are closed, that you can't even get through. Due in part because of just conditions, or maybe there might be accidents that are coming across.
Which we have seen. WashDOT did shut down some of our highways. I believe it was one of the 2024 blizzard warnings for close to a day. So we will, of course, stay on top of that. We're going to take one more quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about our snowpack, what this means big picture, and make sure you're up to date on the forecast. Welcome back. We continue our coverage of this first alert weather day, or days, I should say, multiple days. We're continuing this on through Friday as we continue to track back-to-back days of impactful weather. It's the mountain snow, it's the low-level rain, it's the gusty wind. One thing we'll also talk about, Adam and I were just talking about the impacts as far as past travel is concerned. I know we have many ambitious people in the region who love to ski and snowboard and are just so excited to see that we're finally getting significant snow in the mountains. This is what we have continuously said we need, and it is coming to fruition. So it is a great thing to see. I know everyone's excited to get up there. Please, Wednesday is not your day, especially for those backcountry enthusiasts, especially around Stevens Pass. It is not safe to go up to the backcountry tomorrow for Stevens Pass. Just give it a couple days because of how much snow is falling and how much snow is expected to continue to fall. So just keep that in mind. But also when we talk big picture, as far as our snowpack is concerned, this is a welcome sight. We, for most of this winter season, have sat in the 30 to 40, maybe 50% of normal as far as our snow water equivalent is concerned. So with these multiple days of multiple feet of snow, we are expecting that to change. So that'll be fun to watch in the next couple days as we see that map change.
It will be really great. Now, we talked about what's going to be happening basically Wednesday into early Thursday morning, and we still have another system behind that, and we're going to pile up more snow even behind that as well. And so there are winter storm watches that have been issued for that here late this week.
Which basically means we're keeping an eye on this. We may upgrade it later on. It's just kind of we're keeping an eye on this.
Right, yeah. So it means that we probably see the conditions prime for some heavy snow again. That's going to be around later into the week, and we want to give you an update on that. Now, the winter storm watches will include all of the Olympics, all of the Cascades yet again. Could you see some of these maybe transitioned over to an advisory? Yeah, maybe a winter storm warning, perhaps that as well. Either way, we're talking about multiple additional feet of snow that are going to be ahead for us as we go later on into that time. So let's kind of show that for you. Wide picture of what's going to be happening. So this is Wednesday's storm as it makes its way on through. You see for a brief while too, as this is coming on by, that our snow levels are actually beginning to get up, and we're on such a very fine line of between seeing snow and no snow for our mountains, because down into Oregon, it's going to be a little of anything really for them. They might see a little snow initially, but then it switches over to rain as that atmospheric river will bring in the warmer, milder air for them. For us, you can see it shrink for a little while heading into early Thursday morning, and then it comes right back again, and we continue to put down more of that heavy snow across our mountains. But again, we keep it going into Thursday afternoon. This is Thursday night at 7 p.m. We'll see that more so into Thursday night and into early Friday, and we'll keep that going even into Friday afternoon and eventually into Friday evening and Friday night. Into the weekend, there are more chances, but a lot of the deep moisture at that point will be gone, so we're not talking about as high amounts of snow ahead as we head on into that point in time. But just check out some of these totals right here. They're going to pile up. They are. We're talking 2, 3, possibly 4 feet of additional snow from now until Friday into the evening. And so when we talk about the low snowpack, when we talk about how we can really use this snow across the area, this is going to be great news for that. Also wanted to mention, though, at the same time, you're going to have different layering of our snowpack. And so, as Leah was mentioning before, the avalanche concern is going to be with us as we head on later throughout the week and into the upcoming weekend. So you might want to rush and get out there and get on the slopes. I'm sure a lot of those locations will be safe, but it's those backcountry areas that you're going to want to be really careful of.
Yep, yeah. And the Northwest Avalanche Center does put out an avalanche forecast every single day. They do short-term forecasts, so they put it together right now. They're probably putting together the forecast for tomorrow. They publish it at 6:30 each evening for the next day, and they do a really good job of showing the different levels of our lower elevation mountains, mid and high. Each mountain they do a forecast for. So we do not have the forecast for tomorrow yet. That will get released at 6:30 p.m. But just based off of what we know and educated guesses, avalanche risk will be high, especially for backcountry, especially for those higher elevation regions. So just definitely something you want to keep in mind, and we'll continue to keep an eye on that and let people know when that forecast comes out, what it looks like.
Yeah. All right, so let's recap. We got the 7-day coming up for you. We're in first alert mode here from pretty much now until Friday and really until early Saturday morning, as the last few of those snow showers will be making their way through the mountains. Some additional snow for the mountains and some additional rain still around for the weekend, but a lot of this will begin to work its way on out of here, and we'll see things quiet down at least a little bit, and you can see some of the milder air that will be with us heading on into next work week, with highs bouncing back into the mid-50s. Now, we do expect, as we go throughout these next few days, to see a lot of active weather, and so the timing of all this, again, I think you're safe if you're trying to travel here throughout the rest of today, this evening, or maybe early tomorrow morning across the passes.
Tomorrow morning, yeah, should be okay. It's tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening that we're really going to see that strong wind pick up, that heavy precipitation move in for the lowlands in the form of rain, for the mountains in the form of snow. So yeah, tomorrow afternoon and evening is really the time frame that we're keeping an eye on. Another thing to take note of, if we show that 7-day forecast one more time, you can see, look at the lows. I really want to point that out, because the last couple of mornings our lows have been around freezing, and that's when we've been on the cusp of keeping an eye on lower elevation snow. We are saying goodbye to that. So yes, we are talking about snow the next couple of days, but we expect it to stay isolated to the mountains. We are not looking at low-level snow potential moving forward. You really can't compare what we've seen the last 48 hours to what we're expecting the next 72 because of the temperature difference. Where it was much colder the last couple of days, and we're warming things up enough to keep that snow in the mountains. Our snow levels are really going to be rising here as we move forward. So that's one of the things that is kind of nice, I guess. We don't have to necessarily worry about impacts for low-level snow potential. We'll keep it where it should be in the mountains for our snowpack. But the rain and the wind will be the big impacts for the lowlands, especially Wednesday afternoon and evening.
Yeah, so those are going to be our high-impact times, mid to late tomorrow and heading into early Thursday morning. Beyond that point, we still have a lot of heavy mountain snow that's going to be with us. The heaviest of the rain should be done, and hopefully it looks like the strongest of the winds will be done at that point as well. So just have your kits in your cars if you are going to be traveling at any point here through the rest of the week, just in case something happens, and try to time out your planning if you can, or your traveling if you can.
And if you do have to travel the passes, don't forget, make sure your car is full of gas. You don't want to plan to let it go on empty and then get stuck on the pass, and it gets cold out there. We've seen that happen in situations where there are slowdowns or closures. So make sure your car is full of gas, you've got those go kits, and can stay warm if needed. But we'll keep an eye on that. And be sure to stay with the King 5 weather team. When we go into first alert weather mode like we are the next couple of days, we do these extra live streams because we want to pull back the curtain, be transparent, and really dive deeper into the forecast. So Prella Lewis will have another one coming up tonight at 8 p.m. We'll be doing them every day at 3 and 8, at 10 a.m. I believe as well. Lots of weather coverage from the King 5 weather team coming your way the next couple of days. But be sure to stay online. Make sure you have that King 5 app downloaded on your TV, your phone. You can always watch all of our coverage, whether it's this extended coverage that we're doing now or our regular broadcasts as well. You can always watch it for free on your app streaming.
All right, everyone, stay safe, take care, and again, you can catch us on here, King 5 Plus and King5.com. We'll talk to you soon.